Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of ENTV Movie Reviews. I'm Lilah Wilcoxson.
I'm Carson Zorn.
Today we're going to be reviewing The Batman, which we were able to see at the Fan First premiere on March 1st.
So The Batman is directed by Matt Reeves and stars Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, Paul Dano, and many others. And the summary is, when the Riddler, a sadistic serial killer, begins murdering key political figures in Gotham, Batman is forced to investigate the city's hidden corruption and question his family's involvement.
Alrighty, so we're actually going to start off this review spoiler-free since we are releasing this on the day it's coming out, and we know many people haven't had the opportunity to see it yet. First and foremost, let's go in. Overall thoughts, what did we think?
I loved it. I thought it was... I have to, do some thinking on it, but I think it might be my favorite superhero movie I've ever seen.
Nice.
If it's not favorite superhero movie, it's definitely my favorite Batman movie, which is saying a lot because The Dark Knight is a very, very good superhero movie.
I will say it probably also beat out Dark Knight in my book and might be my favorite DC movie overall. Thought it was amazing. I thought all the actors and actresses did an amazing job. I'm going to be honest, I went in there with my doubts a little bit about Robert Pattinson, but I think he played off the role amazingly well. He's extremely talented in it, and I think he did a really good job.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson, when he was first announced as Batman, I was one of those people that was like, oh, the Twilight guy's going to be Batman? And he went in and he killed that role.
I also thought the Riddler was played out really well. In my seat, I was honestly uncomfortable in the best way at times, especially with some of those more gruesome scenes. I was like, oh, you are scary, scary, scary.
Paul Dano played the Riddler. He was fantastic. He did a great job of just portraying both the insanity, but that also just the cunning intellect of all the things he had to do to be in that role. And he was scary. I'm gonna be honest. There were moments in this movie where I thought I was watching a horror movie instead of a Batman superhero movie. He was genuinely terrifying. Kravitz did a fantastic job, and Colin Farrell as the Penguin was unrecognizable, but he was fantastic as well. The whole cast. I remember I texted you after the movie. I said, I literally can't pick a favorite cast member or a favorite scene because that's just how good the whole thing was.
And I wanted to touch on the cinematography of it. I think it was really interesting and artistic how most of it was shot. It was shot very dark, which I think fit the whole overarching theme of the movie in general really well, and that was a touch that I really appreciated from the directors and team.
I think my favorite shot in the whole movie is in the trailers. It's that after that Penguin car chase that you can see in the trailers, and the camera's flipped upside down, so you're seeing it from Penguin's view, and you just see Batman get out of the Batmobile and start walking, and the music was swelling and everything, which the music in this movie was
the orchestration
insanely good. If it's not nominated for an Oscar for Best Original Score, then
what are we doing here?
Exactly.
Very dark movie, by the way.
Yes, very dark. If you're going in expecting, the campy Batman of the 90s, where George Clooney had a Batman credit card, I have some bad news for you about this one.
Dark. If you are not a dark movie person, if stuff like that kind of is too graphic for you, I would maybe stay away from it.
Yeah, I think it's even darker than the Dark Knight trilogy. I think this is the darkest Batman iteration we've probably seen on screen thus far. I've never felt the movie's 3 hours long, just to preface, before get yourself into it. It's 3 hours long, but I don't think I've ever felt 3 hours of a movie go faster, and that includes Endgame, Avatar, stuff like that. I think that is the fastest I've ever felt 3 hours go. 3 felt like 2. It was that good. I was just glued to my seat, my eyes were glued to the screen. There was no point where watching the movie, there was no point where I'm like, man, if I had gotten a large soda, I would have to go to the bathroom right now. I'm like, there's no point in the movie where you can do that. You sit and you just watch it, and you just love being engrossed in the world of Gotham and just watching Pattinson just excel at the role. I really don't have any complaints about the movie whatsoever. I
was going to say, overall, I thought it was amazing. I'm much more of a Marvel than a DC fan, but I went in there with high expectations, and I'm going to say they were met. It's definitely such an amazing superhero film, and I'd recommend for people to see it for sure.
This is one of the movies I will not mind going to see 3 or 4 more times in theaters, honestly. So, yeah, highly recommend it.
That's all we have for this ENTV movie review. Make sure to check out The Batman now in theaters. Have a great week.